evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I tell you anything at all, I'm going to be so annoying as to ask you all a question. How many of you think that freedom of speech is a good thing? Wow. Is there a single person in this entire theater that thinks that it's bad? I actually don't think so. Another question. Yes, it is annoying. How many of you have ever been bullied or even just insulted in your whole lives? Definitely all of you. Whoever did not put their hands up is a liar. Please, stop for a moment. Consider that with freedom of speech, people are allowed to insult you for anything. They're allowed to insult you even for things like your gender or your race. Freedom of speech. It's a human right and it's meant to stop oppression. But unfortunately, it can allow merciless bullying to take place. That's okay. Well, the bullying's not okay, obviously. The fact that it's not quite so perfect yet is okay. Remember, Thomas Edison made 10,000 prototypes of the light bulb before he finally got it right. Why should it be different for human rights? If anything, I would expect even more prototypes. Clearly, for freedom of speech to actually work, we would need to get people to stop using it to insult others just for fun. Have you ever heard of the saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all? We'd admit it does sound sensible, but unfortunately, it's not the final answer. First of all, how could you expect yourself or anyone else in this whole theater to go through their whole lives without insulting anyone else? Secondly, it's kind of the opposite of freedom of speech. What do we base our idea of reality on? I know this is a deep question. I think that we can only say that something's real if it leaves evidence behind. An unexpressed idea? Well, nobody's heard of it. Nobody even knows it exists. So how can it really exist? And can we allow millions of ideas to just pop out of existence because we're afraid to insult people? I don't think so. If any of you think so, that's your personal view and I won't challenge it. We do need freedom of speech. Because what do you think would happen if we didn't have it? Not even as a wispy, floaty idea. A dictator could quite easily force one opinion onto millions of people, and they wouldn't have a choice. They could make those people die or disappear forever if they didn't agree with that dictator's ideas. Something similar happens in China. No offense to any of you who are Chinese, but in China, you're not really allowed to have a religious affiliation. This is one of the most serious consequences of a world without freedom of speech. A world with complete freedom of speech, on the other hand, is possibly even more catastrophic. With complete freedom of speech, everyone can insult everyone else. There would be a whole lot of bullying. Imagine you're just a sad, lonely, depressed teenager, and somebody else just keeps teasing you, keeps tormenting you, keeps taunting you, and they can torment you for anything. What if you were overweight? What if you were not all that bright? They can say it, you wouldn't be able to defend yourself. What if this poor teenager committed suicide? In our society, the bullies would probably be punished. In a society with freedom of speech, not really. They were just expressing their opinions, after all. Some of you may be thinking that they were just using it as an excuse to hurt somebody else's feelings. This is quite possible. But the thing about evidence is that we only have what we're given. We have to take the children's word for it. We definitely need freedom of speech. But I think that the problem with the way we're trying to get it is that we're trying to reach it in just one big leap. I think that's wrong. I think that it's kind of like trying to jump over a cliff rather than walking up the not quite so steep side, which is a bit foolish in my opinion. I think that freedom of speech is far away, and we're not quite so ready for it yet. Imagine you gave a caveman an airplane. Probably they wouldn't figure out how to start it, and it would just sit there uselessly. If they did figure out how to start it, it would probably crash, burn, explode. Basically, complete disaster. I think the same happens with freedom of speech. If you try to push it onto a society that's not ready for it, I don't think our society is ready for it. But I do think that it's possible to be ready for it. Just because there's no one quick little solution to the problem doesn't mean we can't make it better. We could start trying. After you all leave here tonight, I want you all to start on the long road towards freedom of speech. It may seem far away, distant, impossible to reach, but trust me, it's not. If you don't reach it, well, you get further than if you never tried at all. You probably will reach it though. At least you'd better think that you will, otherwise you never will reach it. But that's part of another talk altogether. So no matter how hard it is, no matter how tired you get of trying, you still have to keep going. The moment you stop, you're done for. Done for. You never start again. You have to try. We make mistakes, but in the end, the mistakes don't matter. It's how we respond to them that does. If, when you misjudge, you just apologize, that goes a long way. If, when people criticize you, you don't take everything super personally. Oh no, I only got a B, and everyone's saying that a B is not enough, boo-hoo-hoo. No, don't do that, please, please. First of all, it's annoying. Second of all, it doesn't do you any good. When people criticize you, try to use the criticism to make yourself a better person. Unfortunately, it's a long way away, this ideal of freedom of speech. We will reach it. Just keep trying. Keep trying. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. Neither is anything around us, anything that we make. But that's okay. Everything takes practice. We will get better at it. Thank you all for listening so attentively.